Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Justin Clore with Terrari Fitness. So today we're going over working with our young kids. This could be athletes, but it doesn't have to be. This is somewhere in that like 7 to 10-year-old range. Really the biggest issue they have is their central nervous system just doesn't fire that well. They're uncoordinated. So athletes usually are super coordinated, super balanced. Those are the things we're gonna work on. Starting out, I like to go over mobility. One of the first things I'm gonna do with my clients coming in, if they're this age group, we're gonna do this V stance, and I do this with my adults as well, but we're gonna do this V stance T-spine rotation. This is just really good for opening them up, getting a little bit of stretch, and with that stretch, a little bit of thoracic mobility. So we're just opening, going towards the ceiling, and we're gonna alternate sides. Try to make sure they keep these knees straight. Young kids like to bend these a lot. Actually, my adults like to bend their knees a lot too. So kids and adults, same exact thing, legs straight. We're just rotating up towards the ceiling. Have them watch their hand. I don't want this with their head down the whole time, so have them try to watch their hand. And with these, they're kids. They're gonna lose attention pretty quickly, so just do 10. So it's 1, 2, 5 on each side, just do 10 and move on. Next up, we're gonna go over ankle mobility. So ankle mobility, I just have them getting this nice split stance, back leg completely irrelevant, doesn't matter, and we're just pushing the knee over the toe. Kind of guideline I have them do is I tell them to make sure they can see their foot. So I don't want that knee collapsing inwards. I want to make sure they can see the top of their whole foot. And it shouldn't feel like we're doing anything with these. It shouldn't feel like a stretch. It shouldn't feel painful. We're just trying to get the joint, get the actual ankle to move. So what you'll see a lot of times, you'll see people go into a squat and you'll see this right away. I want our athletes to be able to go into a squat, keep their heels all the way down. This can be really important. Once we've done our ankle mobility standing up, we're gonna do our deep squats. So this is different than what I would do with adults. Adults, we would go through the full squat continuum where we're grabbing the toes, squatting down inside, arm, standing up. That's a really good exercise for our adults. When we get to some of our young kids this age, if they're athletes, maybe they'll be able to do it, but usually if they're not, they wouldn't be able to do is full squat to stand up. So all we're gonna do is have them stay in that squat and go over some movement and just trying to get these ankles to move a little bit more and just get comfortable in that deep squat. So I'll have them turn their feet out, have their stance a little bit wider than they normally would, go into their deep squat, and I have them make sure we keep those elbows inside of our knees. And then from here, we're just gonna move. It doesn't matter, I just tell them like try to make circles, try to go side to side, back and forth. None of that really matters. What's important is when they go into it, they're not lifting their heels. This is what we don't want, and we don't want this, and we don't want them rounding. So anytime they're doing this, it's probably have the feet turned out a lot more than you would think, and just have them stay there. And if they round their back, have them go probably even wider with their feet. This really should help them keep a nice neutral spine. But it's really just getting this position about 30 seconds, just moving around. That's all we're trying to do, to get that joint to move. The more the feet are turned in, the harder this gets. So this is pretty stressful just for me, trying to keep, and I can feel those things I just said don't do starting to creep up. So trying to keep our feet nice and straight, still moving around. This is pretty challenging. All right, that's pretty much gonna be it for mobility stuff. If we can get our kids to do those 3 things, whether they're athletes or not, like every day, like we're winning. Again, keeping this short, remember kids, short attention span. Moving on to strength. The first strength exercise I'm gonna have kids do are bird dogs. Do not be surprised at how challenging these are gonna be for kids to do. A lot of them just lack the core stability. Again, our central nervous system isn't really firing the right way. So doing this, teaching how to kind of move our body and just move one arm, one leg independently is pretty challenging. Important notes, I'm trying to align hands and knees. I don't want to be way offset or way wide, just where the knees are, hands right in front. I would start, so the exercise in its end is this, like this is what we want to get to. But I would never start that way with a kid. If anything, I would start hands down, have them just work on extending the leg. Make sure they're not extending and arching the back. That's what we really don't want. So just extending the leg, that's what I would start with. And maybe even do some holds, just depending on how it looks. Every kid is different. So I'd have them start extending the leg. Once they get that, I would have them hold the leg there and then just pick the hand off the ground. If that's super easy, we'll move into extending the arm. So for a young kid, this is pretty much where we'd go. Legs first, extending multiple times. Then we would get into a hold with the leg. Then I would have them lift the hand up. And if that's still easy, then I would have them go into extending and just holding for 3 seconds and come back. Regarding the volume, I would really have them just do this 5 times, and that's each side. So I have them do the same side 5 times, 3-second holds, and that's it. We're not gonna do multiple rounds of this. After we're done with bird dogs, we're gonna go into balance. With balance, I'm just gonna start, make sure the foot's nice and straight. Nice and straight. Just have them stand on one foot. They can leave their hands by the side. Really, just hands on their hips is fine. What we want to get into in range is going to be hands on top of the head, knee lift, toe lift. This is the end result we're going for. Just nice little 15-second holds. I would start my young athletes here. If they have really good balance, great. And then we can move up into this. They would do 15 seconds. Switch legs, again, knee up, toe up. We're really trying to make sure they're not like awkward because it even throws off my balance. So just work on knee up, toe up, nice straight lines, and then 15 seconds and just switch. And we're just gonna keep doing this. We'll do about 6 times and that's pretty much enough of a workout. I tell them they'll lose balance and kids will really try to like hold this and they'll end up falling all the way over. So I really try to coach them on if they lose balance, just touching and coming right back into it. So every time they lose balance, just touch their foot, try to get right back up as soon as they possibly can, and just keep switching. And again, about 6 times with these. Now that we've done balance, time to do more traditional exercise. We're gonna do squats. I think most people would be amazed if they watch a kid do a squat, how it looks. You would see like knees collapsing or hips shifting all over the place. So I like to give them a little bit of stability, a little bit of assistance. I'm gonna use TRX. If you were at your house, you could take a bed sheet. You could almost take a sheet and thread it through the door on the back side. So open your door, put the sheet around the door handle, and then close the door, and that's gonna be really secure. So for them, they would just be holding on to the sheet itself, but this is gonna be a TRX assisted squat. I'm assuming most people don't have a TRX in their house. So with the squats, just feet nice and straight, have them lean back a little bit, really holding on tightly to that sheet, and just have them working into in range of motion. It's gonna be awesome if they have a mirror to work with, and just tell them like super slow. We're not worried about reps. Like normally strengths, like let's do 15, 20 reps. It's not what we're doing. I want that kid, if you can get a mirror, perfect, but I want that kid looking at their legs and try to get them to keep those knees nice and straight through the full in range of motion and really not letting a knee collapse in or move out or coming off their heels. So trying to make them aware of what they're doing, and the more they're aware of it and the more they're watching, because you're gonna see them go in, you're gonna see this, and the more they work on fixing it, the better off we're gonna be. That is the whole point. We're just doing 10 squats. I would have them do this maybe 2 times, just 10 squats, really, really, really slow, focusing on form, watching what their legs are doing, trying not to shift all over the place. After squats, we're moving into lunges. And these aren't like traditional super, super deep lunges touching the ground. Kids aren't gonna be able to do that yet. They're not that coordinated. Maybe after they've done this a few times. What we're working on to start right now is just the kind of like we're pretending to lunge, just the start of a lunge. So little step forward, have them just bend the knee. That is it. And then from there, I want them to stand up and then step and try to balance. So they're gonna take a big step forward. They're gonna hold here, bend the knee just a touch, stand back up, and then step into your next one. I think what you're gonna find with kids when they go to lunge and do this is they'll try to go too low and they don't have the strength and the coordination to come up from here yet, and then it's gonna collapse, and then it's just gonna be a really awkward form. Or they'll be here in the step, and instead of being able to come up, they'll come like here, and they won't have the strength to stand all the way up. So that's why I said it's just gonna be lunge walks. They're just gonna take a step, just let the knee bend a little bit, and then work on standing up. Take a step, let the knee bend a little bit, and then work on standing up. That's all we're gonna do. About 10 lunges, let them rest, take a second, let them kind of process what they actually did, and then we'll do it again, 10 more lunge walks. Okay, we're gonna finish up with letting our kids jump, have just a little bit of fun. With all this we're doing today, it's really important to go slow. We don't wanna just have them rush through everything and do bad form. That kind of defeats the entire purpose of getting coordination. So with the jumps even, I am slowing them down, but they are getting to jump and have a little bit more fun than doing boring lunges. The biggest thing is kids wanna try to jump as far as they can, especially my younger younger boys, they really want to try, like, let me show you how far I can jump. That's not what we're trying to do. Girls are a lot easier. They'll just, it's just, okay, you want me to jump? And they'll just do a little jump. So it's almost the exact opposite. Usually, and in my little girls are trying to get to jump further, and the boys are trying to just back that off. A really cool way I do it is just tell them we're worried about the landing. So landing as soft as we can, as quiet as we possibly can. So we're making sure feet are nice and straight before they jump, using our arms, jumping out, and just a really soft landing. We're trying to get them land feet perfectly straight each and every time. Really important, let's not let them land and just squat in as deep as they can. So some kids will want to just do this and collapse in. Not what we want at all. So again, and it's pretty loud too. That's why I said if you tell them like their thing is trying to make it quiet and soft, that's the goal. So I'll make them set, feet nice and straight, just squat a little bit and just soft landing. And not big jumps at all. I mean, that's about how much I would have them do, so even smaller than that for a little kid, depending on how old they are and what size they are. About 10 of those, that's it. We're gonna do 10, stop, do 10 more, like that is it for those jumping. After that, we're gonna get into lateral jumping, which is gonna be a lot harder for kids. For the lateral jumps, I wouldn't go into this unless the kid's already doing really well with the broad jumps, jumping straight and sagittal plane, so I wouldn't even move to frontal plane. What I would do is have something on the line, whether it's just use a crack on the floor or a piece of rope, something. I'm trying to get them to just land from one foot to land on the other side. So really what that means is I'm trying to get them to focus on landing just that far. Like that is it. We're not trying to jump any further than that. Once they get good at it, we can progress. But for right now, same thing, nice soft landing. That's all it is. Like this is gonna be, don't be surprised. I know I've said that a lot, but don't be surprised at some of these exercises, how difficult they are. Just think if I told you as an adult to do these, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be harder for kids that aren't really coordinated yet. They have all the energy in the world, whereas adults, we don't have all the energy, but they have minimal coordination. And as adults, we have usually a lot of coordination. So it's just 1 foot on the line, using the arms still, just little short jumps, going side to side. Again, I would have them do about 10 of those, and that's it. All right, that is gonna be it for our little workout with our minors, with our youth, with our little athletes, whatever you wanna call it, little kids. Important notes, like we're not trying to just absolutely run them into the ground. This is supposed to be something fun, something enjoyable, something that I wanna do over and over and get better at. Coordination is going to be key. All these movements, do not let them just fly through the movements without any coordination or any balance. And like if they're going through the lunge walks and they look terrible, they really need to slow down. That's the whole point, to develop coordination the right way with all the exercise. So if anything, whatever speed they're going, cut it in half, make them really slow down. That's going to be the whole point. That's why the rep ranges are a lot slower. That's why we're not doing so many rounds like we would with adults. Just slow everything down. Work on coordination, and that's going to be the main point when we're working with our kids. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below if you have any questions. See you guys next time.
You got me high and I ain't talking about no drugs. So all I need is you. I swear your love is like my plug. Hey, baby, I might come and steal your heart. I'll make a crime scene, designer on your tight jeans, some diamonds for your timepiece. Yeah, yeah. You know you got me going.